let me see. All right, let me see here. Hold on one second. Let's see. Got it. Okay. So we got some professionals on the call today. I'm going to cut right to the heart of this thing. Good morning, Kristen. Moving into the second half of this year, I'd like to ask all of you a question. Think about this for a second. You've been to many of my calls. You've heard some of the song and dance. Some people actually said, wow, I've heard you say that before. And then I sarcastically say, well, are you doing anything with it? Not yet, but I've heard it before. Okay. So let's do this as kindly, politely, patiently as possible to shift gears for the second half of this year. The question I have for everybody, and it's small group this today, so we can come off mute, please. The question I would have is this. In a market, in an economy that we're dealing with now, some might say slightly financially distressed. If we acknowledge that there's a little financial distress in the economy, in some of the businesses and some of our clients, what is tied to financial distress? Divorce. Is there anybody on this call that is actively getting business from divorce attorneys the first half of this year? No. Is there anybody on this call that wants to get business from divorce attorneys on the second half of this year? Don't say yes just to say yes because it sounds good, because if you're not going to do what I'm going to teach, then we're just taking up space, right? And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm being straight. What I teach is seemingly obvious, seemingly common sense, and seemingly easy. I agree with all of that because I do it. I live it. It is absolutely easy because I believe it is. So therefore it is. And like I said last week with Linda Dow, when you treat every client like they're a $16,000 paycheck, they become. It's as simple as that. We get stuck in going through the motions of busy and not being attentive to the detail. I don't look at the beach, I look at the grain of sand. Singular, one thing. So I'm asking you one thing. If you want to put yourself in a position to be abundantly receiving opportunities from a divorce attorney, we need to do certain things immediately. I would then say, have any of you gotten business from a financial advisor the first half of this year? How many of you are consistently getting phone calls or business from a financial advisor? Nobody.
Well, I've gotten one, but when you say consistently, that's not the case, but I've gotten one.
Sin, that would be better than everybody else on this call. So that's good. Let's talk about that for a second. Why did you get that one from the financial advisor?
It is my financial advisor, and I've met with him and his assistant to talk about the type of business that he does. He does almost exclusively realtors. So I felt like that probably would not be the best person for my board of directors. I would love somebody that works more with seniors or a different audience. But I did share some of my materials and said, if you do come across anybody who's a senior, and kind of gave the whole thing. So he called me back like 3 weeks later and said, I have no idea if this is a good fit or not, but I told them you would give them a call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, you're awesome. Let me share this with you. This is fantastic stuff, by the way. So your initial knee-jerk reaction, and again, keep this in mind, please. The two questions I ask every time, does anybody remember the two questions I ask every time of everybody I meet within 30 to 60 seconds?
Are you willing and able to learn about my business?
Oh, damn, I love that one. That's a good one, Sid. But
oh, is that not the one?
Book a business.
In other words, you have the conversation with the guy. It's BS. Michael, what?
Book a business.
Yeah. So right. BS stands for a whole lot of things. In this instance, it stands for book and sources. Book and sources. You're sitting, think about this, gang. Cindy, this is beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Cindy's sitting with her financial advisor. And one of the questions I ask, again, BS every time, put that on your page, BS, book and sources. Financial advisor, you see what Cindy said, if you do come across, Cindy's awesome, she's very good, but I'm listening to the words. Remember, linguistic execution. You're either killing it because of the words you're using or you're getting killed because of the words you're using. That's an instance where Cindy's getting killed because of the words she's using. Here's why. I'm being respectful, Cindy. I'm not attacking. Here's my thought process. You said if you do come across, here's what Paul says. Be very attentive. Book and sources. How many clients do you have? We're going to make up a number. You ready? Watch this. I'm making up a number. Financial advisor has 100 clients. Where do you get those clients from? A lot of people say word of mouth. But listen attentively. Where he is getting his business from is where he is not getting his business from. In Cindy's case, it might be realtors. It might be social media. It might be website. My point is, you need to find this out, gang. And if you're coming to my calls,
535. 535. His book of business is 535.
you just made it easier. You ready? Watch this, gang. Of the 535 clients you have, Cindy, remind me again who you're looking for. Seniors.
I'm looking for seniors. Yes, seniors
Okay.
and their families looking to make a move.
In order to get something specific, you must ask something specific. Remember, I pick up the grain of sand. I don't look at the beach. The equivalent is, I want a referral. That's the beach. That's why it doesn't work. I don't want a referral. I want a client. I want a grain of sand. My specialty, financial advisor, is helping seniors navigate that next decision. Buying, selling, what to do, estate planning, which community, long-term care insurance. I do all that. My specialty. Of the 535 clients you have, how many are over the age 62?
He said probably less than 10%.
Okay. So let's say 30. I'll even go lower than that. Let 30. You have 30 seniors. Let's talk about those seniors. Tell me now which one of those seniors, to the best of your knowledge, because you manage their money, are in a position that they, let's say in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they're aging in place now, but they are soon going to age out of their place. Maybe in their late 60s, late 70s, late 80s. I don't know. You know them better than I do. Meaning you're going to have to bring in the team, the real estate agent to help them sell, the long-term care insurance, the movers, the title company, the estate planner. You're helping with all of that stuff. So of the 30 seniors that fit my demographic, how many of them now are in that position where you think they're going to be aging out of the home? Maybe 5. I don't know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So he literally looked through his book, and those 62 and older, with the exception of the one that he shared with me, they're all realtors.
All of his senior citizens are real estate agents?
Because
Okay.
he really focuses business on realtors. He goes to realtors' offices and he works with people, you know, and other people that are on commission, but he really, really focuses his business on realtors. And he's like, the majority are, and a lot of realtors are realtors until they die. So, you know, so those people that are in their 60s and 70s are, you know, still practicing or hold their license or have a team or.
Okay. Then let's go a little bit deeper now. And you may be right. This may not be the right guy for you, but you did get one. So my thought is still this, right? So then of your book, how many buy and sell real estate that are not realtors?
Right.
The ones that are earning commissions, sales positions, of those people that are not real estate agents, how many of them consistently buy or sell real estate every year?
Well, he's saying all but one.
Then you got the one.
That's what he's saying, you know.
Okay.
Right.
More than likely, he's not being fully transparent with you because that's an awful lot of clients that only have one person buy or sell a piece of real estate. So now the question I would have for you is, if you exhaust all of these, you're at the dinner table. Remember, gang, when you sit at a dinner table, you don't leave until you're fed. And if you've fed somebody, you now need to be fed. Don't leave the dinner table in theory thinking you're going to get something. You will not. Nobody goes to find you where you are to come and bring you something. You're at the dinner table. Like Cindy's saying, she was digging. She was digging. She was digging. The guy says, I've had one. I gave it to you. That's absolutely incredible. Is that one enough for Cindy to stay there with this guy and to afford him the opportunity to get clients from you? That's your decision, not mine. However, I have multiple financial advisors that I work with, not because I give 3 out and you can pick and choose. I have multiple because I feed a lot of people. So with that being considered, do you retain this guy to interact from time to time and go get another one? That is your decision, not mine. I love what you did. I love the conversation. I love the questions. You were digging on this one. You got the one. In the second half of 2025, do you believe this is a financially powerful partnership for you?
It could be.
It could be. That's for you to determine. However, what I would then say is, let's look back for the sake of this example. And I'm saying this to everybody, not just Cindy. How many clients did you close the first half of this year? Give me a number.
8.
8. She closed 8. Quick client profile for you. Very quick. She closed 8. Everybody do this. This is exercise for everybody, not just Cindy. I look back. This is halftime. We got to prep for the second half of the year. We need to do it now. We're a little bit late. We got to hurry. So the thought process is, hey, the first half of the year, I closed 8. 65% of the population does not have a financial advisor. Today, I'm calling all 8, unless Cindy's already done it. I'm calling all 8 and saying, how's life? How's the kids? How's the dog? How's the house? Oh, by the way, after you made settlement, did you consult with your financial advisor? Did you consult with your financial advisor on the budget of the house? What you're going to do with the net proceeds of the sale? What you're going to do with the money? How you're investing for the future? Did you do any of that? Or you could just say, hey, I'm looking for a financial advisor, one that I can fall in love with. I've got a great one now, but I am looking for a second one. By any chance, do you love your financial advisor? I don't have one. You know, well, you at least need to talk to the one that I am in love with. I'm looking for another one. Dang, you win every time. You either have what I'm looking for and you're going to introduce me, or you don't have what I have and you want to be introduced to mine. I win either way. To me, I'm looking at the second half of 2025 right now and saying, okay, how do I get more from these areas? And it might be areas I've gotten none from. How do I start to get something from an area that I know I can? She has 8 clients. 65% of 8 is 4. Of the 8 people she's going to call over the next 8 days, and this is a joke with Paulie, one call a day. It's the one call strategy. I'm going to call one closed client a day and ask them one of 2 questions. Do you love your financial advisor? Great, introduce me to him. Or if you don't have one, I have a great one. Or have you consulted with your financial advisor on budgeting for the future, the next home you're buying, the next business you're doing, budgeting for the children? Actually, let me ask you this. Who here is comfortable enough to make that phone call today?
Well, the thing is, I do a 1-month follow-up call with all of my clients. Hey,
Wonderful.
how's everything working? Do you like the house? And then I hear a question about the garbage disposal not working or whatever. And then they might have questions about their deed. And I'm like, now that you're settled in, I just want to check to make it, or that you've consulted with your financial advisor to see how this impacts your future and to make sure that you've made adjustments in your will or trust.
Perfect.
So I've had that conversation with all 8 of the people roughly a month after they've moved in.
Absolutely exquisite. Brilliant. What do you do with that information now?
A lot of them don't have one. And so then I make an introduction.
To this
And
guy?
Financial advisor. Yes, at this point, that's who I'm referring to. But like I don't feel comfortable with that. I need another person. I need another guy.
Yes.
Like right now, he's the guy to fill in because I know and like him and trust him. But he's admittedly said the thought of focusing on seniors, like that doesn't excite him. That, and I'm like, well, no, I want you to be excited about my business.
Yes,
Especially,
I agree.
especially if they're younger, I feel like they're probably a good fit for him because I feel like that's his business model. He gets people like newly married and then helps them build their wealth after that.
Yes.
But really, it's more the will and trust that we have a conversation about. Usually people are like, yeah, my guy's okay, blah, blah, blah. And I have not asked, oh, I would love to meet him. Do you love him? If they're like, my guy's the best ever, oh my gosh, I'd be like, oh, if he's that great for you, I want to meet him. But if they're like,
Yes.
yeah, I got a guy. But it's more wills and trusts.
Okay. So now
Yeah.
let's talk about this. Cindy, this is absolutely fantastic. Thank you. A phenomenal financial advisor has a phenomenal estate planner, always, because they have to hand that client off to protect the money they're investing and vice versa. So
Mhm.
an easy way for Cindy and all of you to get a financial advisor or another financial advisor is to go through the estate planner you're already giving business to.
I
So
don't have
Cindy
that
could
right.
actually, I'm sorry, Cindy.
I don't have an estate planner right now.
Okay, so now let's do this. Go to this financial advisor and get an introduction to one.
Okay.
Look at it this way, gang. You get a couple of different things. I'm either going to get equity in the business for bringing you business, I'm going to get a buyer or seller, or I'm going to get a professional that has my buyers and sellers. Those are your options. Which do you prefer? Give them 1, 2, 3 options to pick from, and they will. And then Cindy is now getting introduced to the estate planner that this financial advisor uses. So this financial advisor may not be the person for her to fill her seat, this seat she has available, but we can still grow with and through him while we have him. Grow with and through him. So she does have an estate planner through this financial advisor. Mark my words, the guy has 1, if not 2 or 3 estate planners he gives business to. Mark my words.
Hey,
Send proof.
Cindy.
You're
Mhm.
right. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I
Heather.
want. I mowed this morning, so I am so not coming on camera. But I wanted to tell you that I met with an estate planner last week, and I also met with one of my like preferred lenders. And we all know the lenders, like they are very hard to get exclusivity out of, which I don't even ask. However, when I sat down and re-met with one of my, like, I've got 3 partners that I really like that with lending. And I sat down with her on Friday and kind of was going over, just relationship, catching up for the year, and told her what I was trying to do with building like my BOD. And she was like, "Well, what do you mean? So are you kicking me out because I can't be exclusive?" And I said, "No, no, no. You do a wonderful job with what you do. However, I know that I cannot ask you to be exclusive to me. That's asking a bit much. But what I would like to ask is, do you have a attorney that you can refer me to, because I am having trouble getting in front of an attorney, and guess what? I have a meeting this afternoon."
Nice.
Yeah, it
Good
works
job.
every time. Yeah, it works
So
every time. It's a
again,
good job.
yeah, if you can't with these guys, like with this guy being is in intertwined with other realtors as he is, I would do exactly what you already said you're going to do. Don't necessarily use him for the referrals anymore. Send him ones that he's really good for and niched in, but utilize him for his contacts when you're giving him those referrals.
Yep. Yep. That's valid. The other spin is he just had a baby and he's not very available right now, but once he settles
Oh,
back in,
girl, you're
I'll
a mom. How many times have you not used that?
yeah, yeah. The baby's in intensive care and they're at the hospital a lot. But so I have it marked in my calendar to call him in the middle of July.
Perfect.
Okay, good deal.
Perfect. So think about that, gang. Heather, great testimony. Always grow with and through. When you think you don't have something, you actually always do. You just need somebody to show you where to go. The one thing I would say to Heather and everybody on this call, why would we be asking for exclusivity? I don't know if it's right, wrong, good, or bad. I want to hear your thoughts. Heather, I know you pressed for that. What is the thought in trying to get somebody to be exclusive to you?
So my thought in trying to get somebody to be exclusive, I'm sure all of us have a testimony to this, where we have made our specifically lending and title partners a butt ton of money because that's our go-to. We use them, like I've got somebody that works for a title company here locally for me, and every time I get a listing, that's my go-to. However, they don't necessarily, when their friends or family members are looking for a house or realtor or maybe thinking of selling, I'm not their top of mind. And that's what I have been realizing like this year is trying to restructure how I do business. I want to prioritize the vendors and partners that I'm utilizing at the same level that they prioritize me as one of their referrals.
Okay. So we talked about this, and gang, for full transparency, I was afforded the beautiful blessing from Heather for one of her buyers. The call is recorded. Heather was on it. And I can promise you, you have never experienced a call like this. Heather will testify to that, I'm sure, and I'm not threatening her to do so. The information that I learned and she got to hear about the client, about how to grow the business, about how to protect the client was something she's never heard before. So think about this. I don't ask for exclusivity. I earn it because I do something nobody else does. Kathy McStay might be able to attest to that as well. I've been blessed with opportunities from Kathy right now. She gave me her daughter. So if that isn't like a testimony, I don't know what is. And the information, the experience that the client receives is something they haven't received before to this level. So if you think about it, I don't ask for exclusivity, I earn it. But I would never tell you I have to be your only guy. I would never tell you that. But you're going to experience things with me in a way that nobody else brings to you. You need to do the same thing for those people. I'm not saying this from an arrogant perspective. I'm saying it from Heather's perspective, and she's already on this path. Present in a way they have never experienced before. They will want more of that. You don't have to ask for exclusivity. They're giving it to you because what you've provided to them, they've never received before. How many realtors showed up with a client in their hand? How many realtors showed up to that professional meeting telling them what it is that they're doing to bring them more business? They've not received that before. You earn the exclusivity because of the way you conduct yourself in your performance. Does that make sense, Heather?
Yes, I couldn't find the button.
That's okay. And keep in mind, you said you're looking to do things differently this year when you meet with your vendors. I'm sharing this with you guys. My perspective doesn't need to be yours. Yeah, I hate the word vendor, right? Doesn't mean I'm right. It does not mean I'm right. I want to be clear. Here's what I believe because of my experience. Hope, remember hope, H-O-P-E, hearing other people's experiences. That's what you're coming to any coaching call for. You want to hear those experiences. I'm sharing my experiences. People live up to the title you give them. You will live up to the title you give yourself. If you call somebody a vendor, they're going to act like a vendor. What do we do with a vendor? We pinch them for money. We want advertising. We want co-branding. We want marketing. We want open house flyers. So they're acting like a vendor because you're treating them like a vendor. If you treated them like an investment, you would look to get a return on your investment. If you treated them like a partner and provided the rules of conduct, they would act in accordance with that title. Be careful of the words that are leaving your mouth because the people unknowingly are going to live up to that title. Does that make sense to everybody? If it does not, please challenge me.
When I talk to people, so even before I started in these coaching calls, so board of director was not like in my vocabulary, but I said, I'm looking for partners in my circle of care for my seniors. And
Brilliant.
that really resonated like, oh, you want me to be a partner and I'm going to provide care. It's not, I'm going to be providing a service or, a product. And
Cindy,
that's
that is a perfect example of linguistic execution. That's brilliant. Absolutely
awesome.
brilliant. You created the title that emotionally, viscerally moves people to want to jump and be part of that exclusively, and then you deliver it. I mean, that is absolutely brilliant. Let me share with you guys why I do board of directors. I've shared it before on private calls. I'll share it with you as a quick little recap here. When I look at every corporation, they have board members. When I talk to a lot of financial advisors, they take a look at the board members of the company they're about to invest in. That helps them make a decision on the company. That was profound to me. And yet I look at a lot of different individual professionals who don't have board members. So I am making this decision solely based on our interaction. I don't elevate you to that status of corporation or empire. You're hustling, you're slinging deals. So to me, to attach board of directors to you elevates the status of what it is that you represent, just like Cindy did. It's the same thing. Love that, Cindy. I really think that was wonderful. But that's the reason I do board of directors. And when I talk to some seniors, I actually say to them, who are your board members? They have no idea what the question is, obviously. What do you mean board? I'm retired. I said, wait a second. Something happens in the household, devastatingly, a fall, a financial issue, something. Who do you call? I call my daughter. Okay, so she's your COO, Chief Operating Officer. And we laugh like Cindy's smiling. It just creates conversation. And I said, okay, something happens with your health. Who do you call there? Who's that go-to person? You need doors widened for the new wheelchair. You need grab rails. Who do you call? Who are your relied, trusted? My daughter, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter. Okay, she runs the whole company. Let's get a hold of your daughter. That's an example, gang. That's why I do board of directors. Cindy's Circle of Care is brilliant as well. Want to give you the backstory to that. Now, also keep this in mind. When you're looking at the second half of the year, I'm going to rattle a couple things off for you to just let them sink in or write them down on paper. You may do absolutely nothing with it, but it's just here to get you thinking a little bit. Take inventory as a business owner. You either run a business, a corporation, or an empire. In Heather's case, she likes dynasty. Think about the bigness of the words. Business, corporation, empire, or dynasty. Think about that for a second. So if you're actually in that role, remember, I believe you are not coming here for realtor training. This is acting. These are acting classes. So we're going to act upon something you've heard today, acting classes. I'm a performer, you're a performer. Plug in real estate, plug in financial advising, homeowners insurance, home health aid, plug it in. I invest most of my time on your performance and how you articulate the message to whoever it is you're speaking to. Take inventory on the last half of this year, I should say the first half. Write down your book and sources, your BS. How many did you close? Where did you get them from? Remember, when I communicate with any real estate agent, I ask that question. How many did you close and where did they come from? You're going to tell me, you're going to tell yourself where they came from. Whenever somebody tells me where it's coming from, what they've actually told me is where it's not coming from. In the case of Cindy, who's done a brilliant job today, she could have damn near taught the class, her financial advisor that she's not feeling, she's going to get another one and another one from there. But this guy with 535 clients probably knows a divorce attorney in town. You see, you don't have to go find it, gang. I told you, God gives us everything. You just need to know where to look. Somebody just needs to tell you it's right there. What are you looking over there for? Oh, I have to go to networking meetings. No, you don't. I have to go to Rotary, Latip. No, you don't. This financial advisor with 535 clients, think about how many people in your town this guy knows. He has a divorce attorney or two or three. Grow with and through. So what I want you to do is for the first half of the year, write down how many you closed and where they came from. And then start to think about this, who financially benefited from those closings. And then you make another list. That list is everybody that made money from you. Those are your potential board members, circle of care members for Cindy. Think about this. If you earn from me, you're going to learn from me. So now I am being empowered to educate them. I'm empowering you. Now, the approach is very important because that is your performance, linguistic execution. How are you going to approach the people like divorce attorney, financial advisor, insurance agent, home inspector, photographer, real estate attorney, contractor? You guys feed so many people. The question is, are they feeding you? You cannot go to them and ask for a referral. That is a mistake from my perspective. Context prior to content, which means you need to create a story around what you want. And the story needs to resonate and viscerally move them into activity. When I was blessed with Heather and her client, I'm going to give you an example. Heather's client earns 6 figures a year selling internet services to business owners and homeowners. I need you to grasp that concept. What? That's still a job? Right? He makes 6 figures, 100% commission selling internet services. I want you to think about this. The oil is in the soil. You must dig deeper, but if you don't have the shovel, you're not going to be able to. Here's what I told Heather. Here's what I'm telling all of you. Think about Heather meeting with that financial advisor, of which we role played before she did. She killed it, had a great opportunity with this guy, and it's going to yield financial success for her. She's going to the financial advisor's office. I need you to think about this. When you turn all of your clients into partners, they're more inclined to find you more business. She's meeting with a financial advisor who has internet services in his firm. He also has internet services at his home, both of which need to be reviewed by the client she gave me who sells internet services. What better way to turn that buyer into a partner than to give him clients? Holy smokes. And then think about how many clients' homes he goes into on a weekly basis. You're signing a 2-year contract for this internet services. Are you moving after 2 years? Heather, this client's moving in 2 years. I'll introduce you. Are you kidding, gang? That's collaboration amongst your board of directors and turning your clients into partners, turning your providers, your title, your inspector, your photographer, they are service providers. We need to turn them into partners. And I need to do it quickly because the second half of this year needs to be more profound than the first half. And it will be when you start to apply this. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, let's talk 4 of those people, of the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 I just mentioned. How about 4 of them? How about 5? Let's go 5. That's an easy round number. How about 5 of them? The second half of this year, give you 1 client. Take your average sale price, let's call it $500,000, and 5 of those professionals gave you 1. You just increased your second half performance by $2.5 million, didn't spend a nickel, didn't have to go to networking functions, didn't have to do anything outside of what you're normally doing other than having conversations with the people, the employees that are making money from you. How do I have that conversation? That's what we focus on. That's what we put our energy into. Your performance on communicating with them to increase the likelihood you're going to get business from them. Questions or thoughts for me? We ran 4 minutes over. Hit me with something, gang.
One thing that popped in my mind is the geography. So this gentleman that I'm talking about, when I started working with him, he lived near me. Now he moved 40 miles south. So now, you know, the referral I have is 40 miles south of here, which I'm happy to have, but my sweet spot is the north end of the cities. So that's
Okay.
another thing that I'm keeping in mind when I'm looking for board of directors is the geography.
Add that. Obviously, Sid, you already know that. But for
Yeah.
everybody else on the call, remember, I pick up the grain of sand. I don't look at the beach. The beach is asking for a referral. Be very specific. Grain of sand. Cindy, I'd add that to your profile. Your job description for your board member. For your circle of kick. Yeah, love that. Gang, thank you for attending. I'll be on the 11 o'clock as well. God bless you guys. Apply what you're learning. Let's make some money today. See you. Cindy, great job.